So I want you guys to connect this baseball,
hockey.
what you want to do.
Get better.
And you have the energy and the ability, and he has the talent.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Make the connection.
Let's go get it.
Yeah, pleasure. Let's go get it.
All right. Need anything?
Yeah.
Chance to be back.
Okay.
And
I'm the IT man today.
utility guy.
Utility. Utility. You got it. Hey. So clicker right here. If any issues, I will be right back here. Right. You're working just fine. Mic 1 and 2, I got backup just in case. I don't know if you need 2 microphones, but they both work, ready to go. So remind on
Yeah. You know, that's kind of should we update?
So they had
Delivery. No, they.
That's right. Just
Stay up late.
I've had some like 3 months later.
They need it, not. Yeah. I mean, that's like, every day. Like, I'm really good. But like, it's like. How-
Yeah, you know,
Very, you know,
I mean, we're here in the 6th.
Morning. Oh.
that way.
Grand Canyon Plate. What time of year it is?
And
Yeah, man.
yeah,
Do not a workbook. You're going to need one. Make sure you have a workbook. I'll talk about it more, but yeah, small kinds of money. All right, I'm gonna give it about 60 more seconds. Do that. I always like to start my days personally with grateful, so why don't we do that? On 3 different people, share what you're grateful for and what you're looking to take from the class. What you're grateful for and what you're looking to take from the class. Yes, sir.
Grateful that my
Back to offer now. Good. Yeah.
insight to my
What do you think are you looking for specifically? Okay. Well.
I just got a class close this morning.
I'll use the microphone when you get there, young women.
Yes. That microphone for me.
All right. I'm grateful that I just got a clear to close this morning on what the lender says is one of the toughest deals he's ever done. So I'm grateful for my buyers on that. And I'm also grateful that I am taking this class after just talking with my coach Nick yesterday, and he said, let's get you to take 10 listings this year. So
Oh, this is working out perfectly.
yes, perfectly.
More.
Hey, I'm grateful that our team is actually going to be a little listing heavy going into spring market. And what I'm hoping to take out of this is some nuggets on how to manage that and any additional marketing ideas that maybe as a dinosaur, I don't know.
Stop it. All right, I love it. So we're going to get going. If you're coming in, there are workbooks. You're going to want to grab a workbook. So reality is this was originally a class which was reworked into a workshop. What do I mean by that? We're going to go pretty fast. We got from 11 to 12:30. May take a break depending on where we're at and how we're feeling. But this is what I'm asking for. So I'm going to be teaching best practices. So as you may or may not know, my name's Kyle. Been in the business for 12 years. Actually, January was the start of my 13th year. So in that time, I've seen a lot of ups and downs. I mean, who's been in for more than 12 years? Who's in? Okay, so you know what? There's a lot of things have happened since then. It's a fun ride, but it's also a lot of work. Reality is this is the team. I have a small, tiny, but mighty team. We love serving people within the Twin Cities, as I'm sure you do. I've also become a MAPS coach over the last couple of years, so I have the privilege of working with basically the top 1%. So each MAPS coach has their specialty of people that they coach. I coach the top 1% of performers or to the top 1% of performers in the United States. So I'm privileged to do that. As such, over the last 13 years, I'm going to be talking about the tips, tools, tricks, as well as the commonalities that when I'm working with teams or performers, they're individuals in the top 1%. What are the commonalities, specifically around listings? We love buyers, but today will be around listings because when you own listings, you own the market. When you have listings, you're in control. Not saying we don't love our buyers, because we do. Today will be specifically around listings. So before we get going, I want you all to stand up. High five 3 people and say you're looking sharp today. High five 2 more people and say you're a listing master. You're a listing. All right, you can go ahead. Fantastic. I love the energy. Love the energy. Here's what I'm going to ask you to do. I'm going to challenge you to think big today. I'm going to challenge you for feedback. This is a safe place. There's a lot of talent. There's a lot of experience here. So this is going to be feedback. There's going to be role play. There's going to be stuff like that. My request of you is that you lean in, be bold, share. Share your experiences, share your feedback, because we can all learn from each other. You're all brilliant. You're all amazing. This is an opportunity. So a little bit about myself. Today, we're going to break it down into 4 main categories. 1, we start with mindset because that's where it begins. We're going to talk about mindset. 2, skill set. So when it comes to taking listings at a high level, what are the skills that we can measure, that we can hone, that we can master, and to do it at a high level? 3, multiply. How do we multiply the business? We'll talk more about that later. And then the last one, which we'll end on, is what do we do to magnify it? We take it from a 7, dial it up to 10. So that being said, my goal for you all is that you leave equipped, empowered, encouraged. My goal is, in this workbook, by the way, this is yours to take, to keep, to work in, to take notes on, all the stuff. Taking this and you're gonna take it literally from here and implement it. What are we solving for? I would love for you to have a clearer understanding of how to stack your listings in 2026. Clarity around a strategic action plan, and I'm confident that we'll be able to get there. So that being said, I'm going to call on you guys again. I want 4 different volunteers. I want 4 different volunteers to share or read one of these quotes. So who wants to read one of them for me? Volunteer. One of these 4 quotes.
The ancestry of every action is a thought.
Right. She'll go next.
The world as we have created it is a process of our thinking. It cannot be changed without changing our thinking.
Good. Now, come on, who's up?
Greatest discovery of my generation is that a human being can alter his life by altering his attitudes of mind.
Good. Last one.
Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve.
As a coach, let me ask you this. Because you lead a horse to water, does that mean that they're going to drink the water?
No.
Oh, hell no. That's what I heard. You have horses. You have literal horses. They're stubborn sometimes. Just because you know the path, does that mean you take the path? Okay. Here's what I'm going to challenge you on. I'm going to challenge you right now on a few different things when it comes to about mindset in your business and specifically around taking listings. One is when it comes to taking 10 listings, I'm asking you to be self-critical, not critical, but like self-aware. Do you actually believe that you could take 10 listings a month?
Yeah, but I'm not sure I'd want to because I don't have the back end.
Okay, fair. I'm asking you to see, to really honestly see yourself doing that. Why? Because reality is I coach, and there's no ego in this, people who are doing way more than that. But it is absolutely possible. So the question is for you, this is where it gets personal. Is it probable that I do that? I'm asking you to go outside of your comfort zone, maybe mentally, just entertain that. Now, maybe you don't want to do 10 plus listings a month. Here's how I'm going to challenge you on that. What if you ran a business such that you could operationally, efficiently do that, but you only did 60 or 70 or 80? How much more time would you have with family, volunteering, etc., right? So I'm going to challenge you on that. As I have been working with some high-level individuals, I've found that there's some commonalities in the way that they perceive or the way they choose to look at the world. One of them being your obstacles or opportunities. So this is going to sound like maybe a weird scenario, but it's cold out. Let's say it's winter. It's springtime. You're going through your morning routine. You look out your front window, and you didn't order this. This was unknown to you, but somebody backed a truck of manure and dumped it in your front yard. Shoot. This is something I wasn't expecting. You have 2 options. One, This is the exact type of thing that happens to me all the time. Yet another challenge I have to deal with. Or, for a perspective, could be, well, did want to start a garden, so got more than enough to do that now. Right? So challenges are going to come your way. Reality is that I have found that top producers find ways to find the good in the opportunity. People have energy, right? There are people who give off positive energy and you have conversation. You're like, man, I feel good after talking to that person. And likewise, or I should say, conversely, there's times where you have conversations with people. It's like, man, I feel depleted, right? We all have those people. I'm not saying it's bad or good. I'm just saying that's a reality. What energy are you creating around your business when you start out your day? When a challenge comes, and they will come, are you looking for the positive opportunity in it, the opportunity for growth, or is it just another challenge that you're going to have to get through? Second of all, what is your relationship with fear? My experience is that all of us have fear to some degree on something to some level. As a coach, I have a unique perspective on this because I spend probably 75% of my time coaching people through fear. And which is fine. That's part of it. But the reality of what I'm saying is, what if fear wasn't a factor in the decisions you were making? Seriously, I mean that. If you knew you couldn't fail, what would you actually be all in on? Would it be 10 listings? I'm challenging you on that. Then failure. What is your relationship with failure? So the reality is we're all going to make mistakes. So what is it when that happens that goes through your mind? Are you asking, how can I be better? Or are you telling yourself, I should have been better? See, one is informational. The other one is really a personal attack or is attaching your character to it. The reality is that we can use failure as an opportunity for growth and information in order to do better. Well, you guys will have to correct me on this. Thomas Edison, did he try doing the light bulb 1,000 times or 10,000 times? I don't remember. 1,000? Was it 1,000? That's what I thought, but I couldn't remember. Somebody interviewed Thomas Edison when he made the light bulb. Tried it basically 1,000 times. The person said, well, how does it feel to fail 999 times? I said, well, it fail. I just learned 999 times not how to do it. I will be candid with you. After roughly 13 years of business, I learned a lot by failing and just tweaking, changing, shifting. So that's why I'm here today. I'd rather you not go through the pain of that. Wise person learns from their mistakes. A really smart person learns from other people's mistakes. So hopefully you get some of that from me today. So that being said, I am going to read the myths. So these are the 6 most common myths in real estate, around real estate. So I'm going to read the myth, and I'm going to have somebody read the truth. So myth is, who wants to read the truth? You got it? Perfect. Myth is, I can't do it. Truth is,
until you try, you can't possibly know what you can or can't do.
good. Thank you. I think the gentleman was next. Myth number 2, it can't be done in my market.
Yes, it can, but you may need a new approach.
Who's next? Myth 3, it would take too much time and effort. I would lose my freedom.
Time and effort are not the deciding factors in success.
Okay, who's next? It's too risky. I'll lose money.
Risk is in direct proportion to how well you hold your incremental costs accountable, producing incremental results.
Love it. Number 5, my clients will only work with me. Only I can deliver quality service.
Clients aren't loyal to you. They are loyal to the standards you represent.
Thank you. Lastly, having a goal and not fully realizing it is a negative thing.
Having a goal and not trying to achieve it is a negative thing.
Here's what I want you to do. I want you to take time right now. I want you to circle the myth and the truth that usually is most prevalent within you internally. Am I making sense? which myth tends to pop up the most, what's truth tends to pop up the most. Anybody want to give feedback? What are the ahas? I think I'll start us off here, and I want to hear from a couple of you. I think for me, number 6 is a big one for a long time. Not having I'm a goal person. I like achieving goals. My wife's in this room. She will attest to this. Not hitting goal drives me crazy. Drives me nuts. And I'm not probably fun to be around sometimes. I'm not hitting goal. However, we are all in and we play all in and we give it our best. So worse than not hitting goal, and that's ideal, would be not even trying. That's a big one for me. What else?
Number 3, I value my freedom tremendously. So I tend to be a victim of the truth on number 4, or I'll throw money at something to save my time.
Thank you for sharing. New level awareness. You have a good level of awareness around that. The freedom being important to you. Is the throwing money, is that a good thing or a bad thing in your mind? Both. Just aware. You're aware. I love it. One more. Anybody? Okay, we'll keep going. Continuing on the mindset here. When I first started out, full CAD in this, I would, well, first of all, I would make sure that I get to the listing appointment 5 minutes early, knock on the door. That was just me. That's what I did. I'd get there even earlier. I'd park down the street. That's a little bit weird. Is that what you do? Now I would go through my affirmations. This is when I'm brand new. Don't know nothing about nothing. And I would sit there and I go, I am professional of choice. I'm the professional of choice. And it may sound weird, but I would say that to myself until I actually firmly believed that. And then I would go up to the appointment. And I would live that out. Now, why is that important to me? When I was brand new, honestly, I got business in competitive situations. Retrospectively, I probably shouldn't have gotten this because I was just like persistent and wouldn't take no for an answer. But also because of this, because I went into the meeting with, I'm the professional of choice. If these people don't do business with me, they're doing themselves a disservice. That's where I went in my mind. Also, one of my affirmations was, I get to do real estate. The reality is we don't have to do real estate. I love real estate. Most days it's fun. Some days it's not. It's hard. You work for everything you get. You all know this. You all know this. We get to do real estate. And what I choose to believe in that is we do in our business, we do it for the betterment of our clients. And I know you all do, but we really go the extra mile and say your best interest is going to be our first step. So we're going to tailor this specifically to you, to your needs right now. You all know you could sell the same house 5 months back to back to back based on seller needs, buyer needs, conversations, what's important, goals, etc. Be a completely different experience. So I get to partner with people. That's a privilege. That's a privilege. That's how I choose to see it. Again, this is just how I do it. And I found that a lot of times high producing people have figured out how to balance being humble and confident. Pitch it to you all. What is the importance? And maybe you don't agree, and that's fine. But what is the importance of being both humble and confident?
Being humble.
I think being humble allows you to be able to listen to what the clients are actually saying, not just guessing what they're saying or trying to finish their sentences, actually being able to hear what they're saying. And then the confidence piece is to be able to take that information, help them make a decision, be that guide, be that navigator.
we were talking, or can I talk a little bit about you? We were talking a little bit before this meeting. What's the goal for the team for this year? 123. In the real estate world, that's significant. You have to be pretty confident to be able to execute on that. Yes? Would it be safe? Right. But you said it perfectly. I'm not even going to retry and do it. It's important to be confident. They need to see you as a professional. Also, it's important to be humble, to be able to listen and say, okay, how do I nail it? Like, what's important to you about this that I need to execute on makes this an absolute win. There has to be a certain level of humility. Let me put it a different way. My opinion is that cockiness is confidence that lost its humility. Y'all know what cockiness looks like. We've all been there. It creates blind spots. That creates blind spots. If we have blind spots, that limits our ability to serve our clients. And if we're truly committed to giving a world-class service, which if you're on our team, that's the standard, and that's not a negotiable item. So that hinders our ability to give service at a high level. I want to hear from you all. So this is your opportunity to give feedback. What are you all saying when you go on listing appointments or in the morning when you're getting into lead generation or whatever it is that you're telling yourself? What are you saying for the benefit of others to help you get that next level? Who would like to share? Amy?
I put down, I will let nothing get in the way of servicing my client to the best of my ability. So whether that's outworking the competition, treating people fairly, expecting what they have to say, listening to them, all of those things are like above all, in my opinion. So because I've seen all of my success revolve entirely around that. So just when I get feedback of like what I did right, it's all comments around that. So that's what works.
Who else? How about the other side of the room?
Walking into the appointment to do it for client to help them, not necessarily for the check. Like if you build the team with your clients, money will follow, not focused on but
yeah, good. Caring for the people well, it sounds like. Yeah.
One I try and say is I definitely present my value and win listings at my desired.
Thank you. Are you intentionally feeding your mind the things that it needs to go into that appointment at the highest peak level? Everybody's going to be a little bit different on what you say or how you go about it, but I'm asking you to be that much more intentional. This is how I've done it. So I don't have to think about this anymore. I've done it so much. It's mostly subconscious, but I will stop still at the end of the block. In my mind, I will visualize a switch and I flip it on. That's me to myself saying, I'm on. This is what I am. That's just my process. What is your process mentally and emotionally that gets you in that space that you can go nail it? That being said, here is a mindset. So here's the first exercise, mindset. Questions are, and you're going to work through this. What current mindset or limiting belief is holding me back? How does that mindset limit me? If I truly knew I couldn't fail, we talked about this a little bit earlier. If I truly knew I couldn't fail, what would I give my time, attention, and action towards? And then lastly, who does this free me up to be? To take a few minutes. I want you to go through this right now. And then we're going to have discussion afterwards. So people will share. That's the question. Yeah. Yeah, there's limiting belief is there's no way I could do 10 listings. Or I can't do luxury. I'm not smart enough for that. Anything that would be holding you back from being your best within listing area of real estate. Is that making sense? I'm going to give a few minutes and then we'll go back to this and talk through some of this. We're going to give you about 60 more seconds and then we'll start coming back to this. Okay. If you need to keep going, by all means do so. Get a lot of people thinking hard and writing fast. Who would be willing to be bold and share? As going through these questions, what came up? What was the aha?
Well, one for me would be, again, I don't know enough. So I'm in commercial. And sometimes I feel like a property owner shot that knows every 3.2% this year, last year. It's really not. Number two is how does it limit me? It keeps me from acting. Keeps me from falling. Me from practicing conversation. And if I knew I couldn't, I think give my time to more client conversation. Number four would be, I would be a better servant.
If I can put my own word to it, due to this awareness, you're now freed up to be a better servant to other people. Is that correct? Did you put it differently? Yeah. That's huge. You're getting out of your own way. We all have this to some degree. I was in a mastermind, top agents in Gary Keller, and it blew my mind. Gary Keller, two things blew my mind that Gary Keller said. Got up on stage, he got in front of everybody and said, I didn't really sleep last night because I was nervous to get in front of y'all because y'all are smart. What? And he said something else. He said, I am average to below average on a lot of things, and I have a lot of limiting beliefs, but I'm really good at following systems and lead generating. That's Gary Keller. All under his money. So if Gary Keller, who's a billionaire, has some limiting beliefs, probably it's safe to say I do too, somewhere to some degree. So what are they? Thank you for sharing. And how can we root them out so that we can flip them around? One more person wants to share. Yes. I'm going to get my steps in today.
See, my biggest limiting belief is that I can't organize it all, or I can't create a system that's going to work for me. how does that limit me? It prevents me from sometimes even doing the tasks at all. Follow-ups, accomplishing any of them because I don't even try to organize. I'm just like, can't find a way. I've already beat myself before I've tried to organize them in a certain way. If I couldn't fail, I mean, it ends up being kind of less open-ended because, and then I'd just be doing everything. Open. What it frees up to be is kind of also everything. It can be kind of, as was said, a better servant, better partner, a better friend, better everything, because it generates their system within my business, allows me to give back everywhere else also with time I will have instead of juggling everything and feeling sporadic.
Thank you for sharing. These questions are good questions. If you want to do kind of like a self-litmus test, how am I doing? Want to be objective? These are great questions to ask yourself. You can do it. I mean, you could do it in real estate. You could do it as a parent. You could apply it in different ways. So thank you for sharing. That's amazing. Appreciate that. All right. We're going to go into skill sets. So here's where we're going to really focus the majority of our time is the appointment. So 1, setting the appointment. 2, the actual appointment. So we are going to real play this. So I will be the listing agent. One of you will be the seller. So we're going to role play this. I'm going to give you the playbook. This is how I do it, literally. And then we're going to talk about leverage. So with that, why skill set? Skill set is so critically important for a number of reasons. 1, higher skill, higher quality. I can feel the energy in this is high level thinking in this room, like high level production. You care about quality. Skill set drives that significantly. With quality comes quantity, higher conversion. And honestly, I just want you to go make a whole lot of money. Because the reality is, when you give money away, it's a lot of fun. So let's do that. Here's what some of the top producers I've done that has really helped me win at a higher level. 1 is starting my morning the evening before. So this is something that if you're not doing, I would highly recommend. What I mean specifically is this. Before my head hits the pillow tonight, I'm going to have my full schedule blocked off. I'm going to have everything prepped, everything prepared, everything's good to go. So that when I wake up in the morning, I don't have to think, I don't have to guess, I don't have to try and figure out what am I going to do for lead generation, get it prepped. I'm going, it's gone. Like I am off to the races. I wish I would have done this habit or implemented this habit sooner because this shot my productivity through the roof. Honestly, I have found that those who are winning, usually their mornings are miracle mornings in the sense that they are crushing it. To that point, maybe you've read the book Eat the Frog. If you're not, I'll let you know what it is. Basically, nobody would want to eat a frog. You knew you had to eat a frog during the day, and you didn't do it. It'd just be on your mind, just nagging you. This describes sometimes our relationship with lead generation. I know I should do it, but I'm going to procrastinate. I know I should do it, but I'm going to reorganize my calendar. I know I should do it, but this came up, right? Just do the hard thing. Just do it. Because after that, everything is a whole lot easier. You got mental and emotional momentum on your side. Just keep going. It's like going downhill at that, right? So do the hardest thing and bunker in. We live in a distracted world. I'm there. Look, I'm there. When I'm in my office, I turn my phone upside down, turn it on silent, put it over somewhere else where I can't see it. I am fully on lead gen mode. That's it. There are things that come up that are important in real estate. Typically, it can be dealt with in a few hours. You know, it feels like an emergency. It usually can be dealt with in a few hours. Yes.
What about when you're getting calls or
Yep. So good point. So I do a lot of online lead generation, but if I'm using the phone, then I'll make it so it's business only. So yeah, it depends on what you're doing, but good clarifying question. And then high focus, high intensity, high level action. I'm looking to get as much done in that 2 or 3 or 4, whatever you bookmark for lead generation, maximum effect. Let me put it to this. Let me put it to you this way. You all see the sunlight. I wish there was more of it. What is the difference between the sunlight and a laser? Because both are light. What's the difference?
One's broad and one's focused.
Bingo. These are literally just light, highly focused light that can cut through pretty much anything. Are you the laser? When you're in lead gen, are you that laser? Are you focused to a point where it's like, I'm not going to be deterred? When you get in that space, I guarantee you become unstoppable. When you're unstoppable there, it starts spilling over into other areas of your life. Okay. Other thing, other skill that is really critical for making sure that you're doing well in business is tracking your numbers. So if you're not tracking numbers, please make sure that you're doing so. So we're going to talk a little bit about this, numbers, and then we're going to dive into role play. So contacts. Are you tracking your contacts? Contacts are conversations you're asking for business, not just conversations. Let me call my Nana and having a conversation about her rose garden for 30 minutes, not a contact. It's a conversation. So are you looking to buy, sell, invest? Who do you know? Who can you refer me? I have a goal. Can you help me out? These are contact conversations. So are you tracking contacts? Second of all, are those contacts going to appointments? So it's not contacts for contact's sake, it's contacts to get appointments. Thirdly, contracts. Obviously, we're making appointments to get contracts and contracts for closing. Is making sense? Okay, tracking. Here's what I've found. Top performers are typically at 80% conversion or higher on appointments to contracts, contracts to close. If you don't know your numbers, I cannot impress upon you enough. You need to start tracking these. It would be like trying to fly the blindfold. You don't know where you're going or where you're coming from. If you call me and say, Kyle, I need to get to your training today. How do I get there? I said, well, where are you? I have no idea. I can't tell you how to get here because I could be telling you the opposite direction you need to go. I need to know the numbers. I need to know where you're coming from. So if you're not tracking these, please do. And if you're not, here's an easy thing. And this is in your workbook. Typically, it takes 12 contacts to get a lead. A lead is somebody who's willing and able and express interest in transacting. It takes 5 leads to get an appointment. So I am willing to meet with you such and such date at such and such time. Typically, a couple appointments to get a contract. And this is where you have to, I mean, you can start here, but you'll put your own numbers. I just put 1 contract equals 1 closing. Because I'm just assuming that you went all through all the work to get to that contract. You're just going to figure out how to get it closed. Oh, so for me and my team, not this last couple of years, but many of the years we closed 100% of our listings. My expectation of myself is if I get a contract, it just needs to close. That's my job. If I don't, that's on me. So that's up to you. You're going to have to kind of figure out your numbers on all that. Any questions on any of this so far? I'm going pretty quick. Yes.
What system do you use to track?
Do you use the KW? I use Excel spreadsheet. So whatever works best for you. Honestly, some people will use, some of my clients will use Post-its. Some people use Excel. If you're a client with me, we go through the numbers at the front of every call. If you don't front load it, we are using the front of our call to go through the numbers. So some people will track it on Post-its, notebooks, whatever works for you, whatever makes sense for your mind. I'm visual, so I literally physically seeing it on a Post-it on my wall and check done, appointment set. And for me, I go until I set an appointment. That's it. That makes sense?
No, yeah.
Did that answer your question? Yeah. Any other questions around that? All right, here's the next exercise. So in here, Gary got the top 100 agents together and masterminded a list. And the goal was write down as many powerful prospecting activities that you can come up with. We want to make this as extensive as possible. We're going to put it all together. We're going to compile it. We're going to send it out. This is that list. So this is in your workbook. There's 105. So there's literally 4 pages of stuff. So more than enough to handle. I'm going to have you go through this. And then we're going to go through what you're going to do is go into exercise 2. That is the GPS. How many of you, by raise of hand, are familiar with the GPS tool? Okay, we got about 50%. Great. We've talked about what goes into getting the appointment. We talked about the skill sets of it. We talked about how we want to be clear on lead generation. Now we're going to take time to write out your specific GPS and get clear on that. The GPS, for those of you who may not be familiar, is the roadmap for your business. The goal is going to be your unit goal for the year. 20, 40, 150, 250, whatever it is. That's the goal. Priorities are going to be your lead generation level. So it could be open houses, it could be social media, it could be sphere of influence. And then the strategies, those are the actions that support lead generation levers. Is this making sense? If it's not, please let me know. So you're going to take time in order to build out or reframe or redo your GPS right now. Then we're going to talk through some of those elements. Okay. So we are at about 45 minutes in. I will probably give you guys about 5 minutes and see where we're at. Okay. Any questions on this? I want to be very clear on it. One of the things I will say is you'll see the SMART goals up at the top. Want to be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time bound. Let me give you an example. To me, saying that I'm going to do social media in 2026 is a goal, but it's not very smart. It's not specific. I'm going to post 3 times a week, every week, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. One of them will be personal, 2 of them will be business, 1 will be educational, 1 will be information, whatever. That's specific. It's measurable. It's time bound. So all of these priorities and the strategies should be SMART. Okay, go for it. Yeah. I don't know. Never noticed that one before. Question was, what's floor duty? I don't know. Anybody got? Yeah.
Back in the day when you just walked into a brokerage, people would say, I'm on floor duty. So when somebody walks in and wants to buy or sell, they need to talk to a realtor. The next one up if I'm on duty.
On floor duty. So you're the one who gets it. There you go. Okay. Oh, yes, yes, yes. You're up. Yeah. Like whoever's the next person up on ALC for a lead that comes in. So question and answer. Yeah, thank you. See, there you go. That's the brain trust in the room. Coming out of it. Anybody feeling stuck or have questions? Okay. Looks like everybody's good. guys are doing great. I'm going to give about 90 more seconds. If you're needing to keep going, by all means, do so. Maybe as you're continuing on, just some things to consider. Barry Keller has said many times that with the GPS, you want all of your business to live on this form. And it's okay if it changes over time. That's okay. In fact, the intent is that it would. As you evolve, as you shift, as you change, as you get better, this can change. So what you want in a perfect world is that every priority that you have so robust and so specific that you could hit goal by yourself, with that priority or that lead generation lever, ideally on its own. So you might start with 3 priorities, figure out, okay, no, my wheelhouse is I got 75% from social this year. I'm going to double down on that. So I'm going from 3 to 2. Or maybe it's veterans. That's where I'm getting 90% of my business. I'm going to go from 2 to 1. Whatever that is, it's okay for this to adjust and shift. But what you do want is to be very specific and make sure that there's everything you need on here to be successful, but nothing more. Is that making sense? Or the ahas as you're going through this? This is the feedback portion.
So I already did my GPS for this year, but you just mentioned that the GPS could be readjusted, and there is some things I'm currently readjusting. So
with the boss's permission.
Yeah.
Who else wants to share?
Architecture people and landscapers always use this, but plan the work and work the plan. So when you don't know what to do, you just look at this and go, oh yeah, just follow it.
I mean, the GPS literally, right? Like that's our navigation, right? But I like the architect. There's, God, forgive me. So when the level, right? You want to make sure that things are level. This is a great way of, is your business level? Did I do what was on this? Did I move it my level with my business and where I want to be? This is a great tool for that. My clients, we live off this thing. We live off of it. And many people live very well off of it. There's one other,
Just had to smile. It said laundromat. I used to put together all the first-time homebuyer homes and a flyer on FHA or Minnesota Housing and leave it where people keep their magazines because they're captive in there for an hour. And used to get leads off that free.
Beautiful. I had somebody before he moved to Texas, I think it was Houston, I'm forgetting, but somebody on the team where he was brand new to real estate. He, kid you not, would go to the Mall of America, stand outside of an entrance and hand out business cards and say, are you looking to buy or sell this year? Did a lot of business that way. So there's a lot of different ways. I mean, maybe that's not your thing, but there's a lot of different ways to find business. Sure. Yeah. Love it. We'll keep going. Pre-qualification. If you are not doing some form of pre-qualification, I would highly encourage you to do so. So for those of you who don't know what that is, that could be a couple of different forms. One, sometimes people will send a pre-qualification or a pre-packet, pre-list packet, which is basically, I'm going to send you this. Please look at it, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, before we get there, so that you know what we're about and what we're going to talk about, all those things. Or I call usually the day before to confirm the appointment. So it's something that's the conversation is something like this. What's your name, ma'am? Lisa. Lisa, this is Kyle. I'm looking forward to our meeting tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Just calling to confirm it and to see, is there anything else that I need to prepare for other than the market evaluation and what we talked about? All right. Simple as that. And then I'll usually ask a couple questions. Tell me a little bit about your house. Here's why I asked that question. Yes, of course, I'm going to be taking notes while we rehab this. I'm really listening intently on how they describe their home. For those of you who know the DISC profile, so there's 4 main personality types in the world, the D, the I, the S, and the C. You can look this up. I'm asking them to describe their house because I want to know what personality style that person is. If they're D, that means they're dominant. Want fast, bullet points, get concise. Well, the house is 3,500 square feet, 4 bedrooms. Just redid the roof. What else do you need to know? That's a D. Okay, so I'm going to need to go in with a higher level of energy, higher pace, be concise. Whereas, and there's nothing wrong with this, I might ask somebody about their house, and then 30 minutes later, I'm hearing about a family reunion that happened 3 years ago. Okay, we have a high sensing feeling person. I'm going to need, I don't adjust my presentation, but I do adjust how I give it. Is this making sense? So I'm listening very intently. It almost is irrelevant what they give me. I mean, obviously I'm taking notes, but I'm listening to what they say so that I can tailor my message, my presentation to them. This is all, in my opinion, this is all within the pre-qualification process. You have to figure that out for yourself. So I do the simplified version. Some of the things you can cover: motivation, timing, obviously price. Are they realistic or not? Financials, can you do it? Commitment, all those things. You've done the pre-qual. Now going to go to the appointment. This is not in your notes, so I'm going to give you time to flip to somewhere where you can write this down. I have 4 primary talking points that I go through. First question is, causing you to sell? Why are you selling? Whatever form of version you want to ask, what's causing you to sell? Second one, as your professional realtor, listen how I'm positioning this. As your professional realtor, I will ask this to somebody I've never met before. What are the top qualities that you're looking for from me? As your professional realtor, what are the top qualities that you're looking for from me? Makes this a world-class experience for you. Last question. Is there anything else that we didn't talk about that would keep us from working together today? Now, I have my own way of going through the presentation. You'll have your own way of going through the presentation. Obviously, there's an ebb and flow based on where it goes and the personalities. I will cover, this is the skeleton of how I do my listing presentation. I don't go through anything. It's simply conversational. I'm asking questions. And to that point, we're going to literally role play this right now. So when it comes to finding motivation and pain, was there a question? Yes, what makes this a world-class experience? I want to know in their mind what makes this an absolute 5-star, world-class, red carpet, whatever you want, whatever language. I'm asking them, give me the answers. Now I know how to execute. Somebody, it might be proactive communication. The other person might be, oh, I just want it done. Just check in with me. I want to know what moves the needle for them. Okay, we're going to role play right now. So finding motivation and pain. We'll start with finding motivation. This is so critical, you guys. Who wants to be the seller? I'm going to be a seller's agent. Want somebody to role play being a seller. So you need a scenario for why you're going to sell. Don't be shy. Come on now. Doing it?
I can sell a house.
For sure. Okay. Remind me of your name. I'm sorry.
Lynn.
Lynn, thank you for having me out to your house. A beautiful home. Tell me a little bit more about why you're selling.
We got too big of a yard. It's getting harder to take care of. We should maybe not downsize house, but downsize outside maintenance.
Okay, downsize outside maintenance. I hear you. Okay, pause real quick. These are the questions that I'm going to use to find motivation. We're going as deep as possible. I'm not going to go deep, like probably for the sake of time. We're going to go deep enough with you. Then, okay. So, all right, back in. What I'm hearing is less side work would be beneficial for you. Why is that important to you, Lynn?
We're getting older. I like to travel.
Okay.
My husband does enjoy putzing outside though, so maybe not an association.
Okay. So he likes work, but optional work is what I'm hearing.
Or less thereof.
Oh, okay.
Something we could hire the 14-year-old kid next door to do.
Okay. So in the absence of having to do required work, or you could do work on your own terms for your husband for traveling, what would that be? What would that help you achieve?
My time and freedom.
Oh, in what way?
I wouldn't have to listen to him say he's got to chop wood, cut grass, and plow the driveway.
That's important, and that's significant to you because
I want to enjoy life.
there you go.
I believe work hard, play hard.
So, I mean, we zoomed through that, right? These aren't like rocket science questions. Thank you, but Lynn, give it up for Lynn. You did great. I mean, that was a little bit fast paced, so I'm not going to probably carry that level of pace unless I have a high D personality or a couple. But I'm going to work through these until honestly, sometimes I get to a point where people start getting teary eyed, like, well, it's important to me because I guess I didn't realize, but it's important or it's significant, right? That's okay. Like, reality is we want to dive deep into their motivation and understand them. You don't have to. This is how I do it. Because the reality is if I have to go back and have a conversation about a price correction, it's a lot easier for me to go back to Lynn and say, hey, remember you wanted to go on vacations and remember you didn't want to be so hurry after all the stuff because of that. And because it's important to me, the reality is I think we need to talk price correction. That's different than you need to correct. That could be the difference, tying it back to the motivation, you're getting the price correction or not. That could be the difference between getting it sold or not, right? Remember, we are professionals. So you don't have to do this. This is my practice. I highly recommend it, but you don't have to. The ahas from that. Yes, Lynn.
So when you got a husband that's maybe the social butterfly and the wife that's maybe give me the numbers down and dirty,
yeah.
How do you mesh those two?
That's the fine balance, right? You're going to have to satiate both of those personalities. So you're going to have to get information, but also that's the art of it. You're going to have to cater to both those people. And we'll talk more about like what are the questions that people subconsciously have in their mind. The deeper questions are what you're trying to answer. So we'll get to that. And you can circle back if that answers it, great. If not, perfect segue. Actually, I forgot that was the next one. Here are the three key questions that people, whether they articulate this or not, they're thinking through. The better you can answer these three questions, the better off you're going to be at getting business. One, character. Can I trust this person? They are assessing. Can I trust you? That's the reality. Hopefully the answer is yes. If they can trust you, then the next question in their mind is this person competent? Can they get the job done? Maybe I can trust them, but I'm wondering, can they get the job done? Of course you can get the job done. You know how to do this. And the third is, and this isn't necessary, but will they keep my best interest at heart? This is why I ask and go very deep on motivation and or pain, because I want to know what's important to them, what's on their heart. I mean, this is not just a transaction. This is a major transition, upsize, downsize, right size, transitioning to a different state, whatever it is. There's a family behind this. And I know you all know this, but sometimes when doing a lot, I'll speak for myself. Sometimes when doing large amounts of business, I get into a transaction mindset and it becomes a little bit stale. And I forget every one of those transactions represents a family, goals, dreams, life, aspirations, all these things, right? It goes back to what we were talking about. it's a privilege. I get to do real estate. And so it's good for me to go, okay, pause. This is a real person. This is a real family. And the better you are able to execute on these things, verbally, non-verbally, all these things, your way of doing it, your conversion is going to go through the roof. And I would argue the fun gets, that's where the fun is for me. Is making sense? Yes. What are the ahas so far? We've covered a lot.
As you're asking questions, let's say you're working with a seasoned home seller. Obviously, they've worked with another agent before. Are you asking questions about their past experiences with other agents? Obviously, that can get you to a point of like understanding of like what the other person did wrong or whatever, because obviously they're coming to you for a reason. Or do you feel like that gets the conversation to more of an emotional standpoint where it derails you from like getting to the, does that make sense?
Let me see if I can rephrase that. So, if asking what your previous experience is that helpful or sometimes hindering? Is that kind of the question? Again, this is how you do it. Yes, you could ask that. What's your previous real estate experience? And people often tell you, and there's valuable information. I attack it a little bit differently in the question of what is important to you that I execute on. I could know what you don't like, but that's different than what you do want, right? I don't want to make the mistake if proactive communication, if somebody didn't get, it's probably safe to say that if somebody didn't get great communication and I ask them what's important to you, they're probably going to say communication. It's up to you. Making sense?
I feel like it's more better to direct that question. We're trying to slowly pull it up.
I mean, that's probably, lab it, try it, right? Right. I mean, over time, it's just repetition. Great question, right? Bottom line is whatever way you're trying to get to it, you want to know what is important, bottom line, most important to you. And if you have more than one seller, don't assume that they're the same. It could be one thing for one person and then a totally different thing for somebody else. That said, sometimes pain comes up. And go ahead.
No, that's a good question to ask, but sometimes then it becomes a rant of like, and they're focused on the last relationship and not the one that they're trying to build. Right? John.
Well, I might reframe it like this. John, sorry, you shouldn't have had that experience. That's below our team standard, and I'm confident that you'll see the other side. That comes from those conversations, right? And the willingness to go there. And there are legitimate, you guys know this. You sit down and you have a conversation and you hear things that's like, that actually happened? That's a real thing that actually happened. That's shocking. So there are times where people, maybe it's a catharsis thing or a safety thing. It could be any number of things, but they have a compelling reason to share that. They're looking for you to affirm it, not affirm it in the sense that I'm going to do that, but like acknowledge it. Say, okay. And it could be as simple as, sorry, that was below the standard of what it should have been. This is going to be different. Right? So you got to use your EQ on that. Do you have a
Oh, I was just gonna say, I don't consistently ask that question, but when I have asked that question, sometimes I'm surprised, like I might be nervous. Am I the right person? Am I good enough? Whatever, that limiting belief thing. And then they'll say, well, I want this, this, and this. And I'm like, that's it? Okay, I can do that. So it goes that way too, where it's really helpful to know that I can actually accomplish what they're asking for.
It takes the stress out of it, is what I'm hearing you say. You're going front loaded in your mind with all these expectations that could or could not be true, and it just demystifies it, right? It's clear. The beauty about the question, whatever the question of what are you basically what are you expecting from me? How do I win? They're literally giving you the keys to the kingdom. I know exactly what I need to do. It's clear. Beautiful. Any other insights?
All right, super quick. I word it different because I don't want to hear about their other agent. Chances are I might know them. I ask them, what do I need to do to earn the opportunity to work with you? Sometimes that opens that conversation. I don't need to hear the other agent. Then I also ask, what would totally derail that opportunity?
There's different versions or different ways to approach this. As if you're and as you get better at this, based on the DISC profile or neurolinguistic programming, you can tailor specific words for specific people that typically land better. Not all the time, but you know, if I were to say, how does that make you feel versus what does that make you feel? Those are two different questions. How is more interpersonal, subjective? How does that make you feel is going to apply more to an analytical person, right? The same sort of question, but the words that we use go with it. You got to feel comfortable with this. But I love that. You get great example. Lynn's going to go into an appointment. That's her language. Great. Do what you feel confident and comfortable in. That's important. And then to
Knowledge sitting there is my opportunity.
yeah.
Okay.
Good. Okay. Any questions on any of this? What are let's pause for a second. What are the ahas so far? We've covered a lot of information. I know I'm hitting you with a lot. Let's pause. Our minds a break. We'll keep going. What are a couple ahas that what are you gonna take and implement from this so far?
I think my biggest one is that after 17 years, you get lazy. There's things on here that I used to do, right? Back when I was maybe doing 6 million a year or 7 million a year. And you get up to 15 or 18 million a year and you go, oh, I don't need to do that. And then all of a sudden you're back down to 11 million a year. You're wondering why, right? And sure, business may be a little slower right now, but realistically speaking, you know, I get 95% my appointments. Just don't have enough appointments, right? So, so this is just a really good check-in to go back to the basics and remember what really worked, you know?
Fundamentals are the fundamentals for a reason. We don't change best practices. We change our relationship to them. Say that again. We don't change best practices, change our relationship to them. Don't reinvent the wheel. Please don't do that. A lot of work. I've tried it. Square wheel doesn't work. Okay. One or two other people. Ahas.
When things start to get tough or you have to have the tough conversation, go back to their motivation.
Yeah, absolutely. Repeat just in case online things get a little bit hairy or tough. Good to have that motivation to go back to. Yeah. Maybe one more.
One for me was just really overemphasizing the smart make on the GPS. Just acknowledging that anytime I make a decision, I need to apply that to anything I do, even at home or whatever. Just can keep it really simple. As long as I have those marked off, I go, oh, well, I could do that right now. It allows me to set it and then.
The plan is clear. Just go execute it. Simple, not always easy. Simple, you know what I'm saying? Not always easy. Some of the most brilliant minds in the world are able to take complex things and make it simple. Every day to take simple things and make it complicated, but that doesn't get you to where your goal is. Simple is important. Right? Thank you for sharing. That's good. Okay. I want to be respectful of your all's time. So here's what we're going to do. We got about 17-ish minutes left. So I'm going to breeze through some of this. We're going to wrap up the listing portion. We're going to breeze through the last section and then we're going to do some Q&A. Okay. Fair enough? So exercise 3, which I'll go through in a little bit, you're going to do on your own. Key activities. When in order to take 10 listings a month, what are the 5 money producing activities? Name them off. Let me know. 5 revenue producing activities. What are they? Lead go. 1. Follow up. Yep. Follow up. Again. Make it easy. Lead generation. Lead follow up. Listing appointments. Contract negotiations. Closing the deal. Pareto principle is that 20% of your focus should get 80% of your results, typically. The 20% in your business that should get you 80%. I know people getting more than 80%. Lead generation, lead follow-up, listing appointments, contracts, negotiations. The reality is, there's the stuff, paperwork still has to get done. There's logistical, clerical stuff that has to get done. But to make a sincere effort at doing 10 or more listings a month, you're going to have to live here as much as humanly possible. Not entirely. And say this, I'm coaching people in this, doing this myself. In fact, I'll be even more transparent. I pretty much right now live right here. That's it. I'm 20% of the 20%. What does that look like? I highly leveraged in my business. So what my goal is, and I'm fully transparent. My goal this year, and I'm on the ALC, so this is on blast. Anybody can see this. It's 50 transactions with about 5 to 7 hours of lead generation, production, everything a week through systems and leverage. So people or systems. So my thing is, I set an appointment, I send that off into my calendar. Somebody prepares the paperwork, sends it to me, I grab it, I go on an appointment, I get the contract, I hand it off. That's strategic conversations, but everything else, don't touch. That's why I can do 50 deals in a year off of about 7 hours a week in production versus whatever, right? So the more you can live in that 20% space, I guarantee you the more you're going to enjoy your life. In terms of the business, the assets, revenue, all that stuff. See a lot of wheels turning here. This is big. This is big. That right there, that slide right there, that 20%, the more you're good, the better you are at living at that, life grows tremendous. I said earlier, money can't make you happy. Giving away does. I love giving away money. It's so much fun. Part of the reason why I like to do this is I just like to be able to give money freely. And it's like, I'm not saying, please hear me. I'm not saying like, look at me, how great I'm. No, seriously, it just fills me up. I just enjoy it. That's just what I know about myself. So I do that. Whatever that is, fund that lifestyle, go on vacations, whatever that is, you go do you. So, in there is the listing checklist. So our team has tracked from start to finish all the different things that need to go into a listing from start, really from A to Z. Who does what, when they do it, all that stuff. So this probably applies to your business. You're going to have to take it, tweak it, you can shift it, whatever it is, it's going to have to be contextualized to your business. But here's a resource, if you don't have it, to start from. All right, we'll end on this, and then we'll do some Q&A. So after working with and observing and coaching top 1%ers nationally, success leaves clues. There are the 5 fundamentals. Somebody else used the word fundamentals. I think my gentleman in the back there left. Fundamentals. 1, set clear goals. You did today. On health, wealth, vacation of a lifetime. We heard, Lynn, you want to go on vacation. You want to live on vacation? Fair enough. So there goes around health, wealth, the vacation of a lifetime. 2, live within a time-blocked schedule. Freedom, not prison. How we interpret that time blocked in our mind is important. 3, lead generate with pre-selected methods. The keyword is pre-selected. Not getting up. What do I feel like today? This is I committed to this. I'm doing it. Or communicate with my sphere of influence, my database, whatever data bank, whatever you call it. Regular conversations, strategic conversations, and then 5, introducing accountability for the prior. So we talked about a couple things. At the beginning, we talked about multiplier. People come to me and say, Kyle, what's the golden bullet? What's the magic wand? We all know there isn't a golden bullet. There isn't a magic wand. However, there's one thing that gives somebody the most success or a team the most success winning. It's consistency. Consistency. I probably have gotten to where I'm at, not because I was the smartest. Well, I know this for a fact. Not because I'm the smartest person or the most talented person, but many times I was the most persistent person on a listing appointment. So consistency is critical. That is your multiplier. 1 + 1 can equal whatever you want it to be. 2, talked about the magnifier. Let me go back. Exercise 3, we've talked about, sorry, I'm a little all over the place. Exercise 3 is an energy exercise. What I'm going to have you do is on your own time, go through this as we come up with the plan, the GPS. We talked about the mindset. Now the next question is, do I have the energy to allot to this plan to be successful? So here are some questions around energy, around how I spend my energy in order to be able to execute. That being said, back to the consistency. Here's a little bit of how top producers structure their day. If you want to reference that, great resource. And the magnifier in your business is accountability. So I don't see any staff in here. I'm sure there's the, Lynn, you're the broker. So for accountability, what do we have for options within the brokerage? Accountability groups?
We have her accountability group.
Yes, it's Tuesday morning.
Okay.
Tuesday mornings here at the Market Center in the cafe at 10 a.m. every single Tuesday. Consistency is required, but yes, we do have it. So I can't track goals if you're not there every week. So yes.
Okay. So we got a group around consistency or accountability. Okay. So that's an option. I'm sure the staff have other options as well. If you are not thinking about coaching or have not, you should. Again, full transparency, I would not I know this. I wouldn't be where I'm at. I may not be in the business if it wasn't for my coaches. I guarantee you that. In fact, that was a big reason why I became a coach, partly because I revere them tremendously, but also because I love helping people. I love doing this and making sure that you guys get what you need in order to crush it. And I have 3 coaches. I went from 1 coach to 3. My life is under a microscope at any given moment. It's painful, but in a good way, I guess. So I have just understood that if I'm going to get the best out of myself, and that's a commitment to myself, to my family, to those around me, those I love, I need people in my life that are going to point out the blind spots. Who are going to hold me accountable. We'll come to the group or get into a coaching conversation. I'm happy to have those conversations afterwards. That said, we're going to go into the Q&A, and also you could take a moment to give me your feedback. That'd be tremendously appreciated. So your honest feedback, I depend on you all. Give me your honest feedback so I can make this better every single time. If you could take 30 to 60 seconds, do that, it would be appreciated. And with that said, I'm going to open it up with our 9-ish minutes left to Q&A. Yes, sir. Eileen, do we have any questions online? Okay. What's that? Oh, you're amazing.
So you had on there about the things that like top producers fundamentally do well. Outside of mindset, because we know mindset is kind of the inhibitor of pretty much almost everything. What kinds of things do top producers do poorly? Like a fundamental standpoint, like what kinds of things are you constantly when coaching people realize that like they're not doing that well. But
So-
it's not around mindset. It can be around mindset. It's about everything
So
else.
so let me make sure I'm understanding the question. So what are top performers not doing well outside of mindset?
Yeah. So like, are there certain activities that they're doing that are inhibiting to them achieving their goals or things like that you can think of? Or like, what kinds of things are you constantly outside of mindset coaching people on specifically in the
Yeah.
top producer?
I'm going to try and answer. I don't know if this is going to answer your question or not. So I'm going to answer kind of what I find top producers do. Maybe they'll answer what they're not doing. So a couple things. One, top producers have a clear goal. They're clear on how they're going to achieve it, and they default to action. Now, there are going to be limiting beliefs that come up at some point. I mean, I'll be candid. I'm pushing hard to try and figure out where the limitations are going to come in at some point. Usually it's mental, at some fear of this, fear of that. I mean, I have clients who we've done a deep psychology dive, and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm realizing at 8, and it's translated all the way over here. I mean, we're talking deep stuff, right? So typically, maybe this will answer your question. The thing that I see limits people the most is the mindset that we have to dive into. That said, a lot of top producers, I'm going to give you my own personal opinion on this. So some may not agree with this, but I do not think that fear is the best way to motivate myself or people to get the best out of themselves. There are people who would disagree with me on that. So in my coaching practice, we have candid conversations of reframing fear such that it's not coming from a place of fear, coming from a place of motivation, positivity. I have found a lot of high producers have become dependent on fear as a motivator. It's hard for them to flip a switch to like, what would it actually mean to do business out of joy rather than fear? Is that making sense? Does that answer your question?
Well, I just was gonna like also what you just said there is like once I've achieved it from a place of fear, I'm not afraid of it anymore. So I'm like constantly finding a new thing to be afraid of. It's like when my why is big enough, like the positivity, that's constantly my motivator. You know what I mean? So I like that frame of mind because I think it's totally true that like I'm sick of being afraid of fear because then I just like conquer it and I find something new. You know what I mean? So I love that.
I'll be transparent. It was about 3 years ago when I was starting through the gruesome coaching process. So there's about 210. So there's about 150,000 agents nationwide in Keller Williams. I think that's roughly what it is right now. There's 210 MAPS coaches. So they're pretty hardcore. You got to go through it. We're going through it. I'm watching an executive coach do an interview with somebody else talking about fear, limiting fear. It hit me like a ton of bricks about 3 years ago. It's like, holy crap. If he was interviewing me, asking me the same questions, I don't think I would have answered any differently. And that was my aha of that. I have subconsciously been motivating myself in toxic ways, negativity, pressure, whatever. And I literally had to write a letter to myself, my former self, my younger self saying, Kyle, this is not healthy anymore. We're breaking up. That was my version of me saying, I'm not living in fear anymore. I'm going to choose. But now, a lot easier said than done. I've learned how to do that. But now my motivation when I get up in the morning is, am I maxing out my life to help other people? That's much more motivating than, oh, if you don't do this, you don't do that, right? So to your point, thank you for sharing. Questions? What else? Good question.
Okay, I wanted to add to what she said. Last year, my production was completely down from what I did in 2024. And that was because I let fear and pressure take over me during the second quarter of the year. So I did not do business from June right up to December. I was sucked up with fear, pressure, bills, and these are things that I have been coping with and handling them. But all of a sudden, it's like what happened? What if I don't close the deal? And what if this doesn't close? And I got so scared that I could not perform. I was telling my coach, Nick, that I end up in a very bad place. And one of the things I'm pivoting this year is completely leaving my house. And that particular couch where I used to just wake up and sit on it, it's now a total stranger. I don't make friends with it anymore. I get up every morning and I come to the office. And ever since this new year, I've been doing that and I am beginning to fall back in place. So, yeah.
It's good. Thank you for sharing. So, again, fear wasn't really getting the best out of yourself. And you changed your environment, which helped change your mindset, which changed your trajectory. Smart. Smart. I love it. Yeah, I mean, we're playing really high level chess in our own head, right? This is this is like 4D chess. It takes bravery, it takes courage.
All right, I suck at numbers. I hate the telephone. I could have a lot of fear in my head. But my biggest fear is not being able to support my family in the way they're used to. And that means my extended family. We support my sister's business, my brother's business, my daughter's business. I consider my team family. That's my biggest fear. So I got to redirect all the other stupid fears in your head. Make sure that that one that I actually really am afraid of never happens.
Thank you. Appreciate you sharing. I mean, honestly, I really appreciate y'all sharing. I mean, we're really hashing, right? This is real life. It begins and ends right here. Yeah. What else? What are the ahas? Takeaways. We got about 2 minutes left. Q&A.
Use what you feel confident in. So like if I go on a listing appointment, I might feel confident in something that maybe you don't, or have you kind of cater your presentation to that relates to the seller better.
I love it. And for those online, just in case they didn't hear, just do what you're find your way of doing it and be confident in it. It's critical because most of the communication is nonverbal. If I'm apprehensive, like what am I communicating nonverbal, right? That's going to come off. Whereas if I'm confident, I'm looking you in the eye, they know what structure, I'm doing this, right? All these things matter, right? We're speaking to their subconscious mind. So when you go in confidently, looking people in the eye, clear, concise, that comes off. That has a positive effect, obviously. Yeah, it's good. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, maybe one last one, and I'll let you all go. Or not. Last chance. This is it. All right, y'all. You're amazing. Thank you. Go be productive and awesome.